I always hide myself. So, well, good morning, and thank you so much for talking to me this early Friday morning.
Thank you for having me.
So, tell us your name and what do you do?
My name is Dr. Cheryl Clark Brown. I'm a family practice physician here in Austin, Texas. I own my own practice, and I've been owning my own practice since 2009.
And so, tell us what you do every day. Like, what is your job?
So every day, basically, I'm in the office. I see a variety of patients, anywhere from kids to elderly. I also do some women's health and geriatric health. Pretty much, I do a little bit of it all.
Did you always know you wanted to be a doctor?
Well, when I was young, both of my parents battled cancer, and I went to a lot of doctor's appointments with them. I went to MD Anderson, and watching my parents both struggle through their cancer battles made me at that time decide that I wanted to be in medicine, and I wanted to be able to provide care to patients who weren't able to receive the best care.
Extremely important. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised here in Austin, Texas.
A unicorn.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How
Yes.
would you describe growing up in Austin?
Growing up in Austin was really great. It was nice to see how we came from a very small city to where we are right now. I was very close to my community when I was young. My community helped me get through college by lots of scholarships and grants. So I'm very grateful and thankful for the community that I came from. And when I came back to practice in Austin, I made it my duty to make sure I served the community first. So I went back into community care where I worked with low income patients and indigent patients. And it was very rewarding for me to give back to the community that gave to me. Uh-oh, sweetie, I think I lost your audio.
No, I usually pause when I'm trying to figure out which question I want to ask you next.
Oh, okay, okay.
How would you describe being a Black woman in medicine? Well, not just being a Black woman in medicine, you're a Black woman doctor.
Yes, ma'am. It is hard. You kind of feel a little bit inadequate at times, as if you're kind of at the low end of the totem pole. But that was something that I had to battle through and know that, like everyone else, I deserve to be here. And I had the right to be here and to serve patients just like they did. But at first, you feel a little, I wouldn't say left out. You just kind of feel like you have to prove yourself more so than others. And that was my goal, to set out to prove that I can own my own practice and provide excellent care to patients within my community.
Your kids, they always think, you're only just sitting around waiting for them to call.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a mommy. I truly understand.
Mm,
Do what you got to do, sweetheart.
yeah. And you were talking about, how I felt. So in knowing a lot of that, how do you show up every day?
First of all, I start off by praying and asking God to go with me, making sure make sure I make the right decisions, help me with my patients, and guiding them in my care. And then I go in with a positive attitude, knowing that every patient that comes to me trusts me with their lives. So I want to give them the best that I have. I try to listen to every patient, although we're battling time struggles. We can't really spend a lot of time with patients, but I feel that if you can't sit down and listen to the patient, how can you have a great outcome? So I just try to listen, be kind, be courteous, and give the best advice that I can give.
What advice would you give another young girl who's growing up in Austin and they see you and say, I want to be the next Dr. Cheryl Clark Brown?
I will tell her that it is possible and to never let anything that comes in her way along her struggle as she's getting there. Dust her shoulders off, get up and keep moving because you can do it. Yes, you're going to face battles. You're going to face some inequities, but please know that you're on this journey for a reason and just keep fighting. You'll get there.
There's a few questions that I got from Tim Ferriss. He does a podcast with a lot of executives from Fortune 500 companies. And these are some of these questions. And I thought they were kind of cool.
Yeah.
What's a purchase of $100 or less has positively impacted your life over the last 6 months to recent memory?
A purchase of $100 or less? Has positively impacted my life. $100 or less, huh? I would have to say the time that I went to Houston about 2 weeks ago with my grandson. We had a grandparent day and just going out, buying him a few little simple things, some outfits, some shoes. They were simple, but just a smile on his face, the part of being in his life, being able to have some time to take him to the park and do those grandmother things that I haven't been able to do. That was the most cherishing thing that I've been able to do in the last 6 months. And it required a little bit of money, but it was very fulfilling.
Awesome.
Back to life, what we haven't been able to do for a long time.
That's very true. If you had a gigantic billboard anywhere in the world and you could get a message out to millions or billions of people, what would that message be and why?
At this point for me, it would have to say, please take care of your mental health. It's very important because at this time in our lives, mental health is so important. It's affecting almost every aspect of people, from rich, young, poor, healthy, everyone. So I would definitely reach out to people to let them know that it's very important to take care of your mental health right now, personal care, self-care, throughout everything that we're going through. Remember your mental health is what I would put up there. It's very important.
In the last 5 or so years, recent memory, what have you become better at saying no to?
I have become better at saying no to trying to do everything and realizing that I have to back off some things and take care of myself because I've always been the yes woman. What you want me to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. But I'm learning that sometimes it's okay to say, no, I can't do that. You have to save yourself sometimes.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused or have lost your focus, what do you do to get back to center?
I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of prayer. Um, I try to exercise and I try to make sure I'm not eating some things that could create, mood swings, fatigue. So I try to go back to the simple things, making sure I'm exercising, sleeping well, and I'm a very strong Christian person. So I do a lot of meditation and prayer.
So this is one that I really like because it kind of gets us to know you. And some of the answers I can't publish, but one of the questions is, what's an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love?
Mm-hmm. Unusual habit or absurd?
And remember, everything is relative, right?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Uh, a lot of people find it unusual that I still enjoy dancing. I still enjoy reggae music, but I think dancing and music brings happiness. So I still enjoy listening to music. I still enjoy dancing. So some people find that unusual, but that's a very important part of my life. So music brings joy.
Someone else said the same thing. How
Mhm.
has a failure or apparent failure set you up for later success?
Well, I am a teenage mom. So I went high school, I got pregnant, and it was a big letdown for my family and a lot of my friends. They were like, "Oh my God, you messed your life up. What are you gonna do?" So at that point, I just buckled down and say, "Do I let this end my life, or do I just keep buckling on and keep going?" So that was something that was a very turning point for me, and I just decided to keep going and keep pushing. And with the help of my mom, I made it through. So
What advice would you give your younger self?
my younger self advice I would have been never give up, even though you face adversity. You know, I faced a lot of adversity in my life, and I'm thankful that I didn't give up and that I kept pushing because I wouldn't have made it if I didn't. You will face adversity in life, so expect it and push through it because it is a part of your journey.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago with my oldest son, and he's such a good kid, and every stage of his life was just a blessing because I lost my first child. So, it's like he was just God gave me the best child ever.
Yes,
And I remember there was something I wanted him to do, and I was like, that's going to be too hard for him. I don't want him to struggle. And then I really had to check myself, and I had to say, you know what? If he doesn't fail, he doesn't learn.
can learn. Yes, ma'am.
And so it was a humbling thing for a mother, right? Because it's like we cripple our kids by giving them everything, making sure that their world is perfect, right? Because thank God we were able to do it.
Yeah,
But I had to sit back and really just and allow him to fail,
yeah.
and oh my God, that is so
All
hard
that's hard. It's
as
really
a mom,
hard.
and especially as a Black mom, a Black woman. And for your child, it's like, but he's a good kid, and I thank God, that he's had times where, I remember when he was in college and he's like, well, mom, I think I want to take a gap year. And I'm like, dude, you're not the Obamas. You can take a gap year after you get a degree.
That's right.
And so
Yeah, that's like me. Ain't no gap year right now. Get to
exactly. And his dad was like, he's grown, he can, and I'm like, no, your parents pushed you to make sure you got your.
That's right.
And so
That's
I
right.
was like, absolutely not. And
No.
so I told him, I said, if you decide to, because I couldn't make, but I told him, I said, I tell you what, if you decide to do that, everything stops. Your car, your credit cards, everything. So you're
Yeah,
gonna have to be on your own. And he's like, because he's like, well, I can take care of myself. And I said, okay, everything stops. The car
that's
keys stay. And and then he left. He was mad. He come back and he goes, I'm going to stay in school. And so after when he graduated, he was just like, Mom, I'm so glad you made me.
thank you, Mom.
Now he's working at Dell
See
by the
there?
grace of God.
Oh, sweetheart. Congratulations. You did
Lord.
the right thing. You did the right thing.
But it's hard, man. It's hard for parents. And he was, oh God, and you let him, you just let him go through that phase where, you're like, that they're not making the best decision. They're not making bad decisions, but they're not making the best decision, you
That's
know? And
exactly.
it's hard to like sit back and watch him
About to be
fail.
too controlling, but still be a good guider and a good leader. Yeah, it's hard.
Lord have mercy. So I feel you. I definitely feel you on that one. So, what is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made? And it could be anything.
The
Doesn't.
most wild investment I would say is invested in myself, believing that I could get out and own my own practice. And I did it, and I'm still here. That was definitely the best investment I could have ever made. It was scary, but I did it.
Talk about that journey, because a lot of times, I come from a small town in Alabama, and my family, they, although they mean well,
Yeah,
they don't like to see us fail. And I
yeah,
can remember, my sister saying, "Don't do that." And I
yeah,
said, "Why?" And she goes, "Because I don't want you to hurt."
yeah,
And it's like, how do you, and I had to tell her, I said, you know what, I'm going to be okay,
mhm,
because I have to be okay. I have to, if I believe in God, then everything that happens, good or bad, is
yes,
the way it's supposed to be. So I have to trust in him. And so I was like, and this is the path I feel like I'm supposed to take. And whatever happens, good or bad, I gotta accept it. And so, yeah, so it's hard. It's hard. But how do you do that? Because your family, meaning well, they don't want you to hurt, right? And so how do you step out there, especially, as a Black woman doctor, and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I know this is what's best, not just for me, but for the community. So how do you do that and really stay set in that?
Well, for me, I'm a person, I'm a physician where I pride myself in spending time with patients. Instead of just going into the room, hey, how can I help you? I would like to listen and let them get off their chest what they're here for. And in a lot of settings, you don't have that time. You're getting 10 to 15 minutes per patient. For me, I wanted to be able to have some control over that. Hey, if I need to spend a little more time with this patient, I wanted to be able to do that and not feel like, hey, I'm going to come out of the room and being scolded because you spend 20 minutes versus 15 with the patient. So it was a way that I wanted. I wanted to be a more of a holistic practice. I wanted to practice natural medicine. I didn't want to push pills. So I know that in order to do that, I had to be on my own because if I was in a big group, I'd have to live by their stipulations, not by my own. So that was a driving force for me. I bought acupuncture, I bought lymphatic massage. So I wanted to be more of a holistic practice. And I know that I had to be the one to own that practice in order for it to be that way.
Okay, you just said a magic word for me. Lymphatic
That's
massage.
me.
I've been going to Westlake, I think it's Westlake. They have a place. So I'm definitely I gotta call your office and see if I can get in because I mean it's expensive. So if I can pay them, I can pay you.
Yeah, I saw a lymphatic massage lady during the pandemic. Her mother-in-law got sick in Europe, so she went over there to take care of her mother-in-law. She left me some of her clients to refer patients to, but lymphatic massage has been a lifesaver for me. So I haven't had one in more than a year, and I haven't really tried anyone else to go out to see if I believe and trust in what they're doing. But lymphatic massage is excellent. So, and it is a little pricey, but sweetie, if you find the right one who knows what they're doing, it can truly rejuvenate your body.
Yeah, it really has. And I'm a disabled veteran. And so it's really, I mean, it was one of those things where when I tried it, because a physician told me to try it, because I had some kind of cosmetic work, and he was like, what do you call it? The scar tissue. I had scar
Yeah,
tissue.
our tissue relief.
And so, yeah, so it was definitely, it was the first day I had it. It was really, like you said, it was
Yes,
life changing. And I was so surprised, so surprised. And so,
yes.
yeah, it's,
So if
it's
you find a good one, stick with there. It
okay.
helps.
Yeah.
Acupuncture is great too. So
It really is. And like you said, it really, it takes a unique person,
yes,
to do that type of massage. And so I like it because I don't really like people touching me. So it's a very different type of thing, and it's not
it's a
like
trust person because
exactly.
they're moving fluid, they're messing with your cold, and
Yeah,
they can do a lot of things with just their touch. So
really.
yes, ma'am, you have to be able to trust
Yeah,
them.
it's amazing.
Yes,
And
ma'am, and trust
and
in
she,
their
and and she said, she was like, let me know how you feel,
yes.
because, and she's like, make sure we don't do because I love to have a glass of wine every day, and she's like, let's try to not to do that.
Hydrate after this, yes.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to stop that one. So I don't drink like, a couple days after I go. But yeah, it's been a lifesaver, honestly, like you said.
It's great, don't it,
Yeah.
sweetie?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So tell me what life lessons you've learned.
Life lessons I've learned. Being a teenage mom, I learned that hey, trust yourself, not others. You can't believe everything someone else tells you. I learned to be a little more cognizant of that. And I lost my son about 3 years ago, and that life lesson just let me know that you can't take things for granted because because something that you feel may always be here, something that you feel that you can change or you can correct later, you may not get the opportunity to change or correct or to love more or anything. So his loss learned me to take advantage of the right now. Don't put off later to what you can do right now. So that was a life lesson for me for sure. enjoy what you have today because it's not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of being able to come back to my community and provide excellent medical care to Austin, Texas. Because I was told when I was going through medical school that Austin's too saturated. As a Black physician, you won't be able to make it there. So I'm just thankful that I was able to prove everybody wrong. And I'm here doing what God has for me to do.
What's your superpower?
My superpower, I feel, is being able to be in touch with my patients. I feel like I can sense when something is going wrong, and just being a caring person, say, hey, I can sense that your spirit's not there today. How can I help? I feel like that's my superpower, being a loving, caring person.
And I think you talked about it a little bit. How do you give back to the community?
I Before the pandemic, I used to do a lot of outreach programs. I kind of slowed down a little bit, but I try my best to give back to my church. I try to do youth physicals, give back to my youth, and just I feel like educating my patients on what they can do at home, what they can do over the counter versus prescribing a pill, teaching my patients how to take care of themselves with stuff that's in their cabinets they can buy at the grocery stores versus always turning to stuff that they can get from the pharmacy. So being holistic versus Western, I think is better.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the fact that I am able to balance my career and still be a great mom and also a wife. So just being able to balance those three things and, daughter, sister, all those things, just being able to balance my practice and still have a life is a great accomplishment to me. So growing up, I saw my a lot of doctors that I followed. I saw that they really didn't have balance. They worked very hard. Their lifestyles weren't very good. Home life struggled. So I'm just glad that I've been able to keep a good balance with those three. It's really important.
I like that. Who's your favorite person?
My mom.
Why?
First of all, I'm thankful that my mom believed in me through all the things that I went through in my life, even being a teenage mom, and some of the things she believed in me. She never stopped believing in me and she pushed me. And I'm also thankful that she instilled the Lord in me because if I didn't know who He was, sweetheart, I don't feel like there was no way I could have made it through all the adversities that I went through in my life and still stand up strong and have faith and believe and keep pushing. So if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be here today. I know I wouldn't. Sorry, I might start crying. Ah, she's a great woman, and I thank God that He put her in my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. So she is my most favorite person in this whole world.
What's her name?
Alva Clark.
Alva?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I asked one of my tech guys, they're very introverted. He goes, "What is this, Oprah?" He goes, and he was the same way. He was, and his wife, he had just lost his wife, and he was saying how, that, and he, it's amazing because I know him, and I was just so shocked because, he told me he was going through something, but you just don't know, because people don't share. And he was a very, she was, I guess the illness was long. And so it was hard, and
It's
so
hard
yeah,
to.
and yeah, and so he's just broke down. And I was like, and he's always laughing, always happy.
He just will never let you know. He keeps it going during the day, and
Yeah.
when he gets home, that's when he lets it loose.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And it's kind of like that thing where somebody said, whenever someone is being rude or ugly, you have to remember you don't know what they're going through, right? And I've made a lot of mistakes in some of the, like, judging him because I'm with trying to get him on, get him registered or get him on the uh on the list on the calendar. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? You know, the people I know is like, y'all are the worst. And he was just like, and he said to me, he was like, Anita, he was like, you don't really know what's going on. And so, and then I was like, you know, because he's always, you know, always joking, always happy. And, you know, you just think he has his perfect life. And
Yes.
so, and then I think I had, I was, you know, on him and I was like, dude, come on, what the heck is going on? And so I think I called him and he goes, and he said to me, he said, I had a death in my family. And immediately it was just like,
Yeah.
and so, and then he didn't even tell me who it was until we got in the interview.
Yes. Oh my
Because, you
God.
know, immediately I was like, okay, oh, sorry, you know, look, let me know.
I apologize.
Exactly. But then when he said it was his wife, and it was just like, you know, my heart just, because I mean, you know how it is when you've had somebody in your life for 30 years and they're your, you know, they're your equal, they're your best friend. And, you know, like you said, it's the person you can be you.
Lost the husband too, so it's hard. It's hard.
I
It's
can't.
it takes a long time to recover, you know. You find your way to pick the pieces up, but it's just a part of you that's never the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'll be different from here on out. He'll still be himself, but you'll notice that there's a little difference in the person that you knew then and the
Yeah.
person that you see now. And that's okay. You're different, and that's okay. And I try to tell people who go through loss and go through grief, don't try to go back to be that person who you were before that day,
Mm.
because you're not that person. You have to accept your new norm, and it's okay. That was something that I had to tell myself with losing my husband and losing my son. You're not going to be that person you were right before, Memorial Day 2018. You're a new person. A part of you was lost, and that's okay. So don't try to go back to a normal. Adjust to the new you, and that's okay.
Okay. Now you got me.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, my love. Sorry. I'm gonna grab some tissue too, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Give me 1 second, beautiful, please. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, mommy.
Yeah, you know, I lost my mom a week before I went to Afghanistan.
Oh,
And you know, and you know, and I struggled when I got back because I kept wanting to be that same person that I
yeah.
was. And I didn't understand. And I kept saying, you know, this is crazy. You
Mhm.
know, I should be able to move on and I should be able to do this, you know, and a lot of things happened. And it was just, so just saying that, it just like, God,
Thank you.
validation.
Yes, ma'am. You needed to hear that from me today. Sweetie, I tried my best to be who I was. The more I tried to be who I was kept getting depressed and sad because I could never be who I was. And that's like, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get it together? Hey, you're not that person, sweetie. You went through a major life-changing event. So yes, you metamorphosized a little bit, and that's okay. So you get used to your new you. Don't try to go back to who you was before. She's gone, baby. She's gone. And that's okay. That's okay. God bless you for that. Yes, ma'am. Take your time. Take your time, beautiful. Take your time. Okay. It's
I
okay.
never used to cry.
It's okay.
And
You say so. You needed that. So take your time. You needed that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, baby. It's okay.
you know, everybody sees you as strong and, you know,
They don't know what's on the inside.
they don't understand and they don't understand. I mean, I remember people would say, oh, what do you have to be? Your life is great, you know? And
They
it's
don't
like,
understand.
they don't really don't. I mean, people who don't have the financial things,
Mhm.
you know, they think that that's, you know, your life should be perfect.
That's not what makes you happy.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And, you know, thank God. I mean, it's been 8 years and I
Wow.
finally, I mean, and honestly, it took me doing stuff for other people
Yes.
and really this whole thing that, you know, building this nonprofit and working to tell other people's stories, you know, has been, you know, it's like, and as soon as I started, it was like, God just kept like, that was the path. I mean, I created this nonprofit and said, this is what I wanted to do. And like, I was talking to a friend of mine and he's like, oh, you know, we just got a new CEO, come in and I'll introduce you. And so I went in and talked to him and, you know, said hello. He goes, well, what are you working on? I said, well, you know, I'm thinking about working on this project called Achievements in Black Austin, where I'll profile African Americans. He goes, really? Well, tell me more about it. And he's like, we'd like to sponsor you at $20,000. You know what I mean? And it was just like, really, God, you know, it was crazy. But it was, you know, but when he gives you that dream, he gives you that vision, the provisions are already there. It's just, you just have to.
He just wants you to march on and put one foot in front of the other because your path is already set. Don't ever stop believing, honey.
Let me tell you, because I mean, you know, and I'm sorry for for this, but I mean, honestly, it's like when I came back, I lost everything. I lost my love of my life. I lost my house, my car. I lost custody of my kid because they, you know, oh, well, she chose her career. You know, no, it's because I trusted this person. And, you know, and it's like, you think that's what defined you. And then all of a sudden you have to recreate, you know, my mom was gone. I didn't have the person I could call, you know, for spiritual guidance.
Exactly.
She's gone. And so now it's like, how do you get back? And I had nobody who understood the loss, the pain. And yeah, and so it took me stop thinking about myself, where I was, where, you know, this hole that I felt like I was in. And I just started serving in my church, you know, serving other women and really helping to build them up. And it was, you know, and then it makes you again, you know, like you said, it was a whole new normal. I mean, because I couldn't do my job anymore in the military, you know, because of everything that happened in Afghanistan, you know, and so it was a new normal. And you know, and people kept saying, you know, you gotta get used to your new normal. I'm like, I want the old life back.
It's gone, boom. It's gone. And you leave her there because the more you try to reach back and grab it, it's gonna be very upsetting. So push forward in your new normal and look how far you come. God bless you.
I know. And you know what, my son, he's 14, he was 6 at the time. When we had our first gala was 2 years ago. And he goes, Mom, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, Mom, he's like, do you remember what Dad did? And he goes, but look at what you built. Oh God.
You did it, baby. You did it.
Because it's like, you have to serve others. You have to stop trying to worry about you and serve others. And then
serving others, sweetie, you're gonna find out that you're stronger because you're mentoring to them. You're like, wow, I really just pulled that patient up like that. So it gives you strength too to see that, hey, yes, I can still do this. No, I'm not stuck back there. I can still do it. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
I'm telling you, and you know, I've been Zooming for a year, talking to a client that I had, and they had a coach that they had working with us on the project. And after the gala, you know, he was like, hey, let's meet, you know, let's see how we can work on your stuff. And I had a dream about him the night before.
Oh, wow.
And the dream said, this is your partner in life and in business.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't even, you know, I didn't know him like that. And we started, you know, we talked, and it was, yeah, my life is completely, it's like everything that I've asked God for, I have.
Way to go.
Amazing. Well, I'll get there.
Ain't done yet, sweetie. There's much, much more to come.
Okay.
Much more to come. Way to go. That's all right. We both needed this.
Okay. Back to you.
Yes.
What is your place or your purpose in life?
I feel like my purpose in life, I feel God has put me through a lot of things. And I think my purpose in life is to show people that even though you go through certain adversities in life, still push through and never give up. So yeah, I've been through so much. And as I practice in medicine, a lot of patients come to me and they've been through a lot of the things that I have been through in my life. So I feel like God has put me through those things and put me in this place so that I can be a personal reference to those patients as to what they're going through, I've gone through, and I've made it. I feel like that's part of my purpose.
You said you have kids. So how do you think your kids will remember you?
They're going to remember me as a very hardworking mom and a very straightforward and very loving and kind, and one who loves to cook.
Awesome. What's your favorite? What do you love to cook?
I cook a little bit of everything, but I will admit I love Caribbean food, so I cook
Ooh,
a lot of Caribbean food.
really? Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
my ex is he's from New Orleans, and so I learned to cook a lot of Creole, dishes.
Woo!
Yeah. A
Yes,
lot of spice, a lot of spice.
yes, ma'am. That's spicy.
How do you want to be remembered once you're gone?
I want to be remembered as a God-loving person who was always willing to help and listen. That's who I am. I love to serve. I love to serve.
What's the best place you've ever lived or visited or traveled?
The blessed place I've ever traveled, I would have to say Jamaica. It it's just soon you get off the plane, I just feel like my body just relaxed, just oof. I love the food. I do a ritual where I'm in the water, I pray, I dip, and I just come back. I feel rejuvenated for months after that. And it's just pleasant. I just feel like I'm just getting a whole new recharge. So I love it there.
That's one of my favorite places too. Um,
Yes.
um, yeah, I've taken my boys after my gala. We always go. This year we're going to Hawaii because I didn't think my son was getting his passport,
Yeah.
back. But
It's just
yeah,
mystical. The
it
mystical.
really is. And I mean, the people also. I mean, the people are amazing.
Yeah.
They make you feel good.
Yes, they do.
I went to Turks and Caicos for my birthday, and
I
it
remember
was
that.
like, it was. I mean, gorgeous. I mean, God's world is just absolutely amazing. And this was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And and there were a lot of folks who were not from the country. What do they call them? Uh, I can't remember the name of what they call it, the natives.
Yes.
But the native folks from Turks and Caicos, those folks, those are the people I like to talk to.
Mhm.
And they tell you the history, they tell you what it's like living there and all of that. And that's what I enjoy. I mean, of course the island was absolutely amazing, beautiful water. The water was turquoise. Let me tell you, it is one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. And I like Jamaica too.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to go for my birthday, but my girlfriend didn't get her passport, so we ended up, me and my sweetheart, we went to Turks and Caicos.
Oh,
So, oh my God, let me tell you, and it's only like 2 hours. I think it was like a 2 hour flight. So it wasn't far. I'm trying to think, did we fly to? But anyway, it was only like a 2 hour flight from. I don't know if we flew out of Florida, but
okay.
let me tell you, it was gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. And if you really like Jamaica, I mean, the people, like I said, I always love to talk to the people who are in the country, right? Because, I mean, yes, we're tourists, but we're also, I don't want to take
Yeah.
from, I want to give to,
Yeah.
and man, it was great. It was really great. And there's actually there's a little a little place where they had a plantation, and one of the houses are there. Oh my God, let me tell you, you definitely, I mean, you have to go. You have to go. I mean, it's just a gorgeous island, number one, but there's a lot of history there that I think you would enjoy, and there's some fabulous people there, like Jamaica is. So
Awesome.
Yeah. So
That's one of my to-go places for sure.
it, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yes, yeah.
Um,
My heart
what's your
just
favorite book or book you'd recommend?
my favorite book. It's been a long time since I've been able to read a book.
Mm,
So if I go to favorite books, it's gonna probably go way back to elementary.
I know.
I did. I mean, my favorite book, I would have to say James and the Giant Peach. And I know that's so
Oh,
elementary, but it's my most favorite book. It just showed how courageous he was, how adventurous he was. He never gave up. He just kept going. But I just love James and the Giant Peach. That's like my favorite book. I'm a big Curious George fan. Just other than that, if I have to go back, it'll have to be some medical books that I've read that I enjoyed, and that's boring. So I'm gonna go back to James and the Giant Peach. That was my most favorite book. Well, I've read some inspirational books throughout the years, but that was probably one of my best ones. I still remember that till today.
wow. Yeah, there's a few that I the same way. Mine was the dinosaur. Was it I don't know what the
Big
was it.
Red Dinosaur.
Yeah, it's like, oh my, yeah, it was like a big dinosaur. And it was just, I remember, every time you think of your childhood, I think of that book,
Yeah,
you know?
good, good.
What do you enjoy doing in your leisure time?
In my leisure time, I enjoy spending time with my mom. My mom is elderly now, so I enjoy spending time with my mom. And I love listening to music. I love being outdoors. So I just go back on my back patio, watch my roses, turn a little music on, put my feet up, watch the clouds, and just soak it up.
Yeah, that's life.
Yes, ma'am.
So what does it mean to be chosen as one of our top 10 doctors for 2021?
This has truly a blessing to me. It basically lets me feel like my hard work wasn't done in vain. Everything that I struggled to do to be on my own, to be a beacon in my community, to provide holistic care, is just solidifies it all. To know that hey, someone is recognizing all your hard work, Dr. Clark. So thank you guys for recognizing me. It is truly a blessing and a present to me.
That's awesome. Well, that is our last question. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you for recognizing African Americans here in Austin. I see that we have come a long way and we have more great things to come. So thank you for recognizing us.
That's awesome. That's amazing.